Aloha, you're listening to Pipeline Audio. Thank you for following our podcast. We hope you will enjoy our 100th episode. Stay safe and well. Mahalo.
Hey, welcome to Dropping In at Pipeline Audio. This is my episode number 100. And it's called It's Thessicon Damnit. I was going to try and get this done way earlier so that I could cold call a bunch of you crazy people out there. But yeah, who knows? I got a little sidetracked, a little bit under the weather. And I'm going now. So, but if you're out there, if you're listening live, let's see, would you, and you want to be on, I'm going to drop a link to, let's see, I'm going to link to Discord. So if you want to jump on, join the show, get on that Discord link. And if it doesn't take you to the voice and chat channel, go to it. Let me see what it's called real quick. It is Voice and Screen Tech Support. It'll probably dump you in the general channel. And so if you want to get in, just get on the Voice and Screen Tech Support channel. And I'll be watching that, so let me know. And let's see. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the chat at the same time. It's, one of these days I'm going to need 3 monitors, not just 2 monitors. So I see Vern Grainer with like 400 monitors on his desk, so I figure I'm probably doing something wrong. You can try calling me on Messenger. I will try and pick it up. No guarantees. If you're in Discord and stuck in general, say something in the chat. I should be able to get it whichever chat you're in, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Facebook, whatever. I should be able to get it. So let's go. What do we got here? Okay. The latest DAW Bench episode, and man, I really would have loved to have Vin oh, yeah, I learned how he pronounces his name. It's like Vin Curliano. I'd love to have him on here one of these days. Him and, of course, Jim Roseberry. Yeah, on the latest DAW Bench, they were talking about the DAW Bench benchmark coming back for 2021, in case you haven't seen all the latest interfaces and stuff. DAW Bench published a set of tests, since like 2000, where they would test different audio interfaces for low latency performance, for round trip latency, all sorts of quantifiable tests. And, a lot of you guys know about my chart over at Kailua Music School. If you type in round trip latency roundup, you'll find that I kind of have the round trip latency of several different audio devices, audio interfaces listed out there in chart form. DAW Bench does the same sort of thing. I think they might actually do that, but they also have a lot of testing with a number of plugins. Now it's looking like they're going to change sample rates and stuff. So check out dawbench.com. You'll actually learn a lot. Kind of kills me, actually, because that information is out there. So people go and buy like these craptastic interfaces and wonder why things don't work. And he's published everything you need to know about which interfaces are going to work and which ones aren't. And, take it at your peril. I get attacked in forums all the time for speaking the truth about audio interfaces, drivers, and setup. Recently we've had a lot of trouble at the Reaper users group on Facebook, because when you talk about technical information on there, a lot of the guys on there, they don't really know anything, but they just want to preach, and they want to shut you down. They want to make you look stupid. And in reality, the information's out there. You can go get your hands on it, and you can make informed buying decisions. But one of the really funny things is it turned out that Apogee is using the Thessicon drivers, the same thing that Behringer's using, Audient, SSL, several of the others. So when you hear all these people talking about all this magic, you got to buy a Mac because then you can use Apogee on it. Well, it turns out that Apogee's running the craptastic drivers as well. So just more hype lord nonsense, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So, and when they're talking about the Thessicon, it turns out that when Pete and Vin were on that show, they're calling it Thessicon. as like some kind of Greek kind of old thing, some letter to the Corinthians or whatever. So I think they're right. I think it's called Thessicon. So when you see me talking about the Thessicon.de, I think it's really Thessicon. And that's what I'll try and say from now on. Thessicon drivers. So RME's got their own drivers. Motu is very scary. I don't know. The Motu USB drivers are nothing like their class leading, or at least class tying with RME drivers like they had in Firewire and PCIe and stuff, or PCI even. Their USB drivers are pretty crappy, man, to tell you the truth. It works. I'm not having great luck with them. It's a shame because it's such good devices. I think Motu is more focused on AVB. I think that there might be some new PCIe drivers coming out. I could be wrong for Motu. But I think their main thing now is this AVB stuff, maybe Thunderbolt. With all our shows on Dante, not really getting that far into AVB. I'm really not sure what that future is going to be. So they were talking about XMOX XMOX USB chips. I think that's the chip that most of these devices are using, except for RME. RME, I don't know if they're using their own chip or what, but they're definitely got their own driver. RME USB stuff is in a world of its own. I don't think there's anything else that comes close. I'm talking to you through an RME Digiface USB. And you know how hardcore I am about gear agnosticism. It is kind of hard to say, hey, use this thing. But, don't want any problems? Get an RME. Sorry. You might still have some problems, but you want to have the least amount of problems, the least amount of CPU use and crashing and nonsense and the lowest latency, go for RME. I think technically the Presonus Quantum Thunderbolt interface might be able to do a lower round trip latency, but I don't know if it's at anything actually usable. And I don't really trust Presonus to keep the drivers coming. RME HDSP 9652s from 1999 and 2000 still have brand new drivers out right now. The Presonus, I've seen them obsolete some of their products, at least one for sure. So yeah, I'd be a little bit more careful. Anyway, so this XMOX thing, I hope I'm saying that right. To me, it's starting to sound like the new Dice 2. If you guys remember when the Firewire interfaces were all the rage, Motu and RME had working Firewire interfaces. They worked great, as much as anything could work on Firewire. Firewire was sketchy, man. But instead, most companies went with this thing called Dice 2, which was made, I think it was owned by TC Electronic, who actually made their own interfaces. And if you watch the forums and you wanted to see what devices had all kinds of problems, it was the Dice 2 interfaces. And it really blew my mind that at the time you would have all these companies like Alesis, Focusrite, M-Audio. They were using Dice 2 drivers. And when the company who owns that also has their own interface out, don't you think it's kind of scary to put your company's fortunes in the hand of somebody who has a vested interest in seeing you fail? So the Dice 2 stuff was sketchy, and it I don't know, people will swear up and down that it worked. I never seen it actually work very well at all. So this XMOX thing seems like the same thing, though it doesn't seem like that the chipset manufacturer has their own interface that's going to beat you up. But, almost all the drivers, if not all the drivers for these things, are made by Thessicon. And so when you hear the cork sniffers talking on the forums about their superior interface, just remember that turns out, I guess, Apogee as well, Audient, all the ones people hype Lord over and over about, are using the same drivers that Behringer uses. So talk crap about Behringer drivers and performance, that's your audience and your Apogees as well. So I saw a thing about C-Entrance now. If you guys remember C-Entrance from a long time ago, they made their big splash, I think, in the audio industry with their latency test utility. They were the first guys who really would give you a pretty easy way to test round-trip latency. But they also claim to be making drivers for people. And they had like a universal driver you could buy for your devices that would work a lot better than the craptastic ones they came with, allegedly. I never bought the C-Entrance drivers, so I don't know. Allegedly, and this isn't coming from C-Entrance, this is coming from people on forums, that C-Entrance might be making drivers for other companies. I'd like to know who those are, because I'd like to try them out. It might turn out that these things are a lot better than what's out there right now. And so that's what I would like to hear. I'd like to hear what's going on with C-Entrance. I searched around, I couldn't really find anything. Next thing, let's see if I can get this going. So I saw a video linked over at Glenn's Discord, Glenn Fricker's SMG Discord. See if I can pull it up. And the title was, so I'm not sure if he was on there or somebody just posted it on there. The title is Neural STL JST are overhyped plus free metal plugin alternative. So this guy went and showed you a YouTube video of him playing a bunch of heavy guitar sounds using some free stuff. I'm not sure. Let's see if he put it in the description. Revolution Z plugin, free IRs. I think he used like let's see, what did he use? Let me see if I can click around on here real quick. It might have used Emissary actually. Yeah, what is this? Oh no. So okay. So here's another guy I'm wondering where he went. So he used a Ronald Passon. Yeah, Revolution Z was a Ronald Passon Engineering amp. And this was a guy, he made a bunch of amps in the early amp sim days of VST. They were real CPU munchers, but everybody liked the sound of them, I think. And so I'm wondering where he is. Yeah, look, this is a 32-bit plugin he's using here. But he's running in Reaper, so kudos to you for using a superior DAW. But, I really like it when people just take on all the hype lords and just say, here, this will work. And they show you ways to make things work. Or if they actually test things and it turns out that, hey, this actually doesn't test any worse than anything else, or the same or whatever. So it's a pretty cool video. The channel's called Resington, Resington. I guess he's got a metal band too. So go check that out. Neural STL JST are overhyped plus free metal plugin alternative. And crazier news. I just got a new ESP because I was warned that we're not going to really see that many of the super high quality Korean guitars anytime soon again. And if you check the guitar market, there's barely anything out there. It's pretty crazy. The stock is real low. The Indonesian stuff is starting to come through. Stock is still low, but a lot of it's looking real good. It's just I don't want to pay twice the price for Indonesian stuff of the same Korean stuff out there. The Korean stuff is fantastic. So this is an ESP made at World Music. And it came with the real Floyd, not the German one, but the Korean, the 1000 series, the Floyd, whatever you call it, the Floyd 1000 SE. Now, while I was on the phone with Floyd Rose, because again, there's not that much good information out there on Floyd Roses on YouTube, on Google. Google might be hiding it. I wouldn't be too surprised actually, but you can't get that much information about these. So I called them to ask about what's a Floyd Rose 1000, and he told me, and this was terrifying to me, because he told me that there was a Floyd Rose 7-string in oil slick. So if any of you guys seen my BMX bike, I'm an oil slick nut. As any oil slick parts that I can get, I'm getting. My hubs are oil slick, my stem is oil slick, my headset's oil slick, my gyro is oil slick. I had like oil slick pedals and seat. I had an oil slick sprocket, a guard sprocket too. I don't have it anymore, but yeah, it's crazy. I love oil slick, and so when I found out I could get a Floyd Rose and oil slick, here I was. So of course I had to get it, and I really love it. It is the most beautiful thing in the world. Unfortunately, my high E is too close to the edge. And I don't know what I can possibly do about that. I tried to check the recenter the nut. The nut's in the right place, and pulling it over to the left any further is not really actually helping anything. I don't know. I need to take it back off and put the original Floyd that was on there back on and see if that's missing. It looks like the string spacing's the same. It just seems like it's far over to the right. They may have drilled these holes wrong, and man, I'm going to be bummed if they did. Or this tremolo could have been built wrong. If the tremolo was built wrong, hopefully I can send it back to Floyd Rose and they can check it and fix it. But if my guitar, if the Floyd Rose posts were put in wrong, man, I'm going to be bummed because I can't really push the Floyd Rose off to the left, even if the holes were magically re-drilled. It's real close to the edge. I would have to reroute it, so I'm kind of bummed. So, how you guys got any tips if I can move this thing over? I mean, I could take it to a luthier. Man, it was an expensive guitar. I hate to have to pay extra money on the damn thing, but I could take it over to a luthier and maybe get it drilled over if you can find one I can trust. It's a really scary sounding job, man. It's really kind of terrified. I'm going to be bummed if I have to reroute the post holes. Ouch. I'm wondering if there's not something I can regrind the tremolo a little bit. I really don't know, but I'm really bummed. I mean, I kind of paid a ton of money for these two products, and to have them not in the right places, it's a real bummer. But if it ends up working, or if I just get used to where it is, I'll be fine. Who knows? I'll take a better look at it still. And the other thing, my damn Floyd arm is loose. And, I got the Pro one this time. It's not the, this is the low Pro Floyd. I've never had a low Pro Floyd before, like a real one from Floyd Rose. This is not a special. This is an actual steel Floyd Rose. It's just the Korean made rather than German made, if you know the difference. Anyway, so it's a real Floyd Rose. And yeah, the damn arm is loose, so I was thinking I'm going to put a pickup spring in there or pen spring or whatever. But what do you guys do? What's your trick to keep those arms tight? I tried the earplug thing. It didn't really work. The collar keeps coming loose. Maybe I'll do thread tape on it. I don't know. Anyway, if you guys got loose Floyd arm tricks, let me know. If you got a trick to get that high E away from the edge, I would love to know. I mean, it's a neck through body guitar. I can't recenter the neck. I don't know what the problem is. I'm gonna put the original Floyd back in there to test and see what happens with the bolt holes. I guess that's my thing to do for now. Okay, so I'm gonna move on a little bit. I continued to try auto-tune, despite their craptastic, put your credit card in for the demo. But I'm running it. I'm pretty much liking it. Auto-tune still has, after 20 years, the problem that the other graphical tuners don't seem to have, of jumping octaves and making like really bizarro effects and playing one way one time and a totally different way the next. That's Antares, man. I'm sorry to say, there's some crappy crap going on with your guys' stuff. It's still bad, man. This is 20 years later. Why are we still getting this? When Isotope had theirs, this wasn't happening. Wavetune, it doesn't happen. Melodyne, it doesn't happen. I still like your editing the very best out of all of them. So please, Antares, get this stuff fixed. If there's some settings I need to know, let me know. I'll give it a try. But yeah, no, it's still still really bad. And auto-tune, if you guys know how to get a hold of these guys, allegedly there was an auto-tune forum. I can't find it. One of the guys at the Reaper forum is a beta tester for him, so I told him, please put in a word for me. I will try very hard to get ARA support for Reaper, because right now auto-tune doesn't have ARA with Reaper. I still don't even know what it's like in Studio One. It says that it's in there, but I haven't been able to find a video on it, and it's probably just Google hiding stuff again, but who knows. So anyway, if you can get me in contact with Antares, I've emailed them. I haven't heard anything back regarding this issue. If you can get a hold of them or get them talking to me, please let me, because you guys know, and this next story is going to tell you a little bit more. When it comes to getting things done in Reaper, I have a pretty good track record. Okay, so you guys that are always attacking me and stuff in the Reaper forum, you can, I'm just going to say it right now. You guys can thank me for a lot of the stuff you like in Reaper right now. So go suck it. Anyway, so the next story, speaking of going and go suck it, is that we have got Lv2 support in Reaper. I don't think it came out in the newest version right now, but Justin's got it running. You guys have probably seen some of the pictures, but Lv2 support is there. And do you remember who pushed for that? Do you remember somebody a couple weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, put out a petition for Steinberg to let us release in VST2 again until they got MIDI working in VST3. And you remember that guy got all his posts deleted at the Reaper users group, not at the Reaper forum. Reaper forum, people signed the petition. At the Reaper users group, one of the moderators there kept deleting his posts about the petition, and a bunch of people got in there and attacked him over this petition to get VST2 working. One of the more helpful suggestions was saying that, it sucks being a victim of Steinberg's whims, having Steinberg decide whether or not we can do this or not. And so what about Lv2 support? And I said, I don't know what Lv2 is. So let me have a look at what Lv2 support is. And I talked to Justin about it, and now we got Lv2 support in Reaper. So all you guys trying to fight me all the time on trying to make things better, I'm not attacking you. I'm not preaching at you. That's why I don't understand why every time somebody has a technical question, and again, we're going to say it just like the title of how many of these episodes, a technical question deserves a technical answer. But anyway, when we're out there trying to improve stuff for everybody, we're not taking away anything from you. Stop the attacks. This is insanity, man. Crazy people. So we got Lv2 support now, so suck it. All right. Anyway. Next thing up, I got just before I went on air here, right before I was going to hit record, we had the drummer was out there recording himself and getting all the distortion from this from a ATM 230, and I'm looking at it right now, and man, drummers, how do you get anything done? I mean, the guys, like, these things are solid pieces of gear. They got a big old metal grill, mesh, and then like some big metal supports in them, and somehow they still manage to hit. They managed to hit the damn thing and bend up this really strong metal grill. So it's like, wow, guys, you're beating the crap out of things. So I got to bend it back into place, but the mic was distorting. I'm hoping it's just because the grill was actually touching the electronic part of the mic. We're gonna test that later on. Like when I screw it together, I'm hearing this grinding noise. So I'm thinking that some of the metal is actually touching the one of the exposed wires on the mic. So man, that sucks. How do you guys? I don't know, man. You guys are like the guys that have to have the bullseye in the urinal so you don't just pee on the floor. Like, what the hell, you guys? If you saw how my toms are mic'd, they're pretty far from the toms. It's gonna take some work to actually go out there and hit them, and to hit them enough where you're actually bending the like these metal support rails. Like, go take a look at what an ATM 230 is, man. It's no joke. This is a solid mic. So getting it beat up is kind of I don't know. It's kind of a work of art. Okay, so next thing I talk about NAMM 2021 with their theme, Believe in Music. They I guess we got nothing else to believe in right now, so may as well believe in music. And while I'm on that tip, let's see, who should we cold call? I started so late. What time is it in England right now? Let's see. Time in England. 6:30 a.m. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to call you English guys right now. I'm not that cruel. I don't think I should call Glenn Fricker. Though it'd be fun to do. Let's just call somebody local. Let's see if we can get this going. Oh, why is that? Why am I not hearing that? Well, that's messed up. I should be hearing. Oh, I see something, but I'm not
I'm
hearing.
totally like on the show right now, aren't I?
Man, yep. You just cold called Candy Diaz, and here she is on the show.
I'm in the car, but yeah, I totally am answering. I'm in the car in Kalihi Valley,
Why are you in a car in Kalihi Valley? What mean person made you go to Kalihi?
I just my AirPods on now. I just picked up my daughter from my parents' house
Uh,
and picked up some chicken ariscado stew since my parents live like 5 minutes away from me.
I don't know what that is, but I heard chicken, so that's a good sign.
A stew. I gotta bring you some of that stuff. I'll bring you some of that one day and you'll have to try it in the studio.
I always wonder about stews and soups because they're like, I used to call them wet foods at restaurants, and it's like anything you don't want, you can throw in a wet food, and people can't really see it, so they don't know what they're getting. So I've always been a little bit scared of stews and soups, but
those are like legit my favorite foods in the world because I can just pack everything in them, just like what you said, basically. But yeah, I'm definitely a soup cooker and a stew maker.
The night I came back to Hawaii to live for first time in 20 whatever years, my cousin took me over to his wife's family's party, and he said, "Hey, we got some traditional Filipino soup for you." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And I start eating this stuff, and there's like some chunky parts that tasted pretty good, but the rest of it tasted like iodine. Like if you're out in the desert and you got to take iodine, and that taste is that weird iron stinky smell, and it gets stuck in your nose, it gets stuck in your throat, and it's a grodious taste after a while. You're like, the meat is good, but the soup base is pretty gross. And so I asked, what is this thing called? And he says it's Thessicon or something like that. It's
like I don't even eat that stuff, dude. Dinaguan is like legit. Basically, so what dinaguan is, for the unknowing people in your show right now, dinaguan is a traditional Filipino stew made with like the guts and the lining and like all the crap parts of the pig. And then what they do is they take those parts and they mince it up and they stew it with like the blood of the pig. So it's called like chocolate meat. People will call it, to like fool like unsuspecting people into eating this stew that is basically like a nightmare from hell. Oh no, I'm not eating dinaguan. I can't even believe your friend suckered you into that.
No, it's Samson.
Samson did it?
Yeah.
Dude, he needs some slaps. That's just like super mean. Yeah, dinaguan's like intense. And if it's not made well, it's like super, super dirty.
Yeah, I could imagine it being very dangerous type of food to eat too, but it's if you cook it, I guess you're gonna be okay.
Man, it just gets like blacker and blacker the more you cook and like coagulate that blood stew.
Oh,
Holy hell.
Yeah, so if you guys are on an iron poor section right now, that's highly recommended. I think you'll get every bit of iron you could possibly ever need for the rest of your life with one bowl of that thing. So
Oh yeah, no.
if you're low on iodine or whatever, I think iodine's in iron. I'm not sure. So I was cold
I
calling.
made it into my home office. I'm no longer in a car.
Oh, all right, because it would be awesome if you could get in front of a computer, because the reason I called you is that if for everybody who doesn't know, because this year is crazy and nobody's got their tickets, there is no NAMM this year. That's wrong.
That's right. No, I've been pretty aware of that. I've been seeing all my friends that would normally be at NAMM posting, like, lamenting they're not being able to be at NAMM. Okay, do you need me to call in?
No, why? What's wrong with that? What are you on? You on the thing?
I'm on a phone.
Oh, that's fine. That's perfect.
Okay.
But if you can get in front of your computer and look at the news from 2021's virtual NAMM, that's right. This NAMM is online, and it's still hard to get tickets for. So I guess people were having trouble getting into the lectures. So they're still doing lectures this year, but they're doing them over Zoom or whatever. And
oh, I see it.
Yeah, I mean, if you just type in NAMM 2021, I'm sure something will come in. So the first thing I wanted to see was last year, what did we have on the NAMM Vaporware Watch? So what stuff were they going to talk about at NAMM? As usual, show it, probably win some TEC awards, and then never actually sell the damn thing. So last year's, hey, Woody, last year's NAMM Vaporware Watch was the Pod Go, UA's Luna DAW, and Neural DSP's Quad Cortex. So I've seen Podgos in person now. I've seen them at Guitar Center. One band that practices here has them, and another band that practices here just bought one. So the Podgo is real. It's out there in the universe. And even for us Line 6 haters like me and Glenn, this was an excellent piece of gear. $500 pretty much replaces all those stupid dinosaur pedals you guys carry around. It's got a harmonizer, and most importantly, it has the dual output. So you can have a cab simulator output going to the PA system and a regular non-speaker simulator output going to the guitar amp. And so that thing's out. UA's Luna, I think it's out. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about anything UA makes. I saw people saying they were using it, so I think it's out. If you go to Sweetwater's page and check out the Neural DSP Quad Cortex, what does it have? Pre-order now. So this thing, I don't know, man. I think this is still vaporware. Earlier in this show, we had this story about all the hype about Neural DSPs, plugins, and JSTs
Luna,
plugins.
I think it's out. I don't give a crap.
Oh, what am I hearing?
That was my computer.
All right, cool. So I don't think the Neural DSP Quad Cortex is out. So 2 out of 3 on our Vaporware watch is off the Vaporware, and that's a good year. But I think Neural DSP is still on that Vaporware watch. And okay, Ken, do you see anything at NAMM 2021 that's piquing your interest?
No, I'm looking at the webpage right now.
Okay, yeah, the
At the
NAMM page never
virtual
has anything
show.
good. You just gotta look at all the other people who are covering it, because they usually got a better idea than the. Yeah, a NAMM show, and I said it, NAMM show administrators. You guys never have the right stuff on your page. So, one thing that I saw
I'm looking.
is that
did you
Alesis
see?
has a new Q series keyboards, 32 key, 49 key, and 88 keys. And the reason I bring this up is Alesis. Remember that most of our studios, or quite a lot of them, if we're using a lot of channels, we're probably using the ADAT optical interface. That was made by Alesis way back in the day. Alesis may be not even in the horse race of recording at all at this point. But thanks to them, 30 years ago, I think, they created the format that we're still using. And so it's nice to see Alesis at least making something. They always made keyboards. I'd like to see them making electronic drums still. I think they probably still are. But it's nice to see Alesis making a showing at Virtual NAMM. It's nice to see Alesis with an 88 key keyboard. I trust Alesis a lot when it comes to electronics, even though, like we were talking earlier, Alesis did put out a Dice 2 audio interface. So boo on that, but it's nice to see Alesis going.
Well, what about this French Melodium, like 42BN ribbon microphone that they've got
Oh boy.
running around here? You and your microphone. So I would be interested to pick your brain as to what you thought about this microphone. I have no clue what the price range is, but I recorded on a whole bunch of microphones, everything from some fancy schmancy, $50,000 vintage mic that somebody bought from a dealer to your straight out $100, condenser mic from Audio Technica or something.
Well,
What do you think about this microphone?
it looks like the 40 series RCA ribbons from back in the day. We had 44 DXs. We actually had a 77. Like most people, when they think of an RCA 77, they're thinking of looks like a pill or a lipstick tube, but it's small. The one that Rob Halford actually sang through was a 77A, which is, it looks like a 77 DX, but it's the size of a football. No joke. It's gigantic. You need so much lung power to power that damn thing. So ribbons traditionally are very low output. So another way of saying low output is high noise. But if you got a really loud source, the ribbons are great. They talk about them being fragile. I never really had them be that fragile. They always seem to hold up. I know there's lots of ways to kill them, but I never really had a bad time. But ribbons are real. We think of them as super forgiving. They're kind of, you say warm, and another word for warm is that they don't pass highs very well at all. Their frequency response is it's like throwing a low pass filter on something. So they're very smooth. My first attempts at Blumline were using ribbon mics, because most ribbon mics, if not all, are figure 8 pattern. So you could put 2 of them at each other 90 degrees and get a Blumline pair, 45 degrees away from your source. But I love ribbons, man. I wouldn't mind having a 77 and a 44. I wonder how much this thing costs.
I'm looking and I just don't see it. I mean, in general, what are we looking at for ribbon mics?
You can make ribbons. You could make ribbons cheap, just like any other mic. It might be crappy cheap. It might be good cheap. But this one's saying 2,500 euros. That's about normal for like a high end. What do the AEAs cost? Because AEA has done a really good job of doing the old 44s and 77s. Let's see, an AEA 77. Let's see. Let me go. Yeah, like $800, $2,000. So it's about the same price. Okay, here's the R84. This thing really looks like a 77. It is $1,300 at Sweetwater. So I guess that's about the right price. I wouldn't be surprised though if all these mics were made in China, just like everything else, and they're just slapping insane prices on them.
Yeah.
Because there are a bunch of ribbons out. There's a bunch of Chinese ribbons right now. 2-micron ribbon. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to have some ribbons. Really a match pair of ribbons would be cool. You can do all these really fun stereo miking tricks.
Ooh, I want to see these little mini guitars that Vox put out.
Vox?
Yeah, Vox put out these little mini guitars, a Giulietta, a Vina 1, and a Mark III mini guitar. They look like pear-shaped guitars.
Huh.
Teardrops, there you go. Little teardrops with built-in speakers.
Oh, wow. I think Vox has been putting out speaker guitars for a while, right? They're actually pretty fun. I had one. It only had like a certain number of frets or something. But it was pretty cool.
Oh, these look real cute. I'm looking at these, and they look like they'd be something fun in studio for the kids.
Yeah, it could be. It's hard. It's always gonna be hard to beat that Ibanez Micro line for you get these miniature super shredder guitars for super cheap, but having a speaker in it is pretty cool. It's like an acoustic guitar, but electric.
Yeah.
I see.
I mean, come on. Our rocker kids taking it to the beach and being able to like rock out right on the beach.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bunch of little kids playing Slayer on the beach over 4-inch speakers that nobody can turn off. That'd be awesome. Let's see. So now, Presonus is putting out some plugins. It looks like they say the Presonus releases the Analog Effects Collection, and it looks like a chorus, distortion. These look awful familiar. The analog delay. So let's see. What do we got? Analog delay, analog chorus, tri-comp rotor. So that's probably like, tri-comp rotor and red light distortion. They're in audio units, VST, and AAX formats. Looks like your same kind of Me Too stuff, but this could be built well. We'll find out. Tri-comp is a 3-band compressor that appears to pay tribute to the Drummer 1973. That's not bad. It supports a saturation control for thickening at the output stage, and $80 for all of them. So this could be cool if you guys want some more of the same vintage effects. Made by Presonus, who may or may not stand behind their plugins the way they stand behind their drivers, which is sad to say, not that well. But I think this is the first time Presonus is putting out plugins that everybody else can use. So let's hope that they're good. All right. You see anything else?
No, but I have been wondering since it is NAMM what happened to Isotope's Spire interface that I was using a little bit.
Oh.
It seemed to be out there for a bit, and then I noticed sometime last year when I was trying to pick up a couple more just to use with my students that it was gone. So I was wondering and checking out if Isotope did anything new this year, but I don't even see a trace of Spire left, let alone what they're doing. So I'm wondering what happened.
Yeah, that's a good question. Allegedly, there's live shows, demos, and things like that going on at all times during this NAMM 2021, and Isotope might be talking on there. But this is what we call abandonware. So let's just look at Isotope Spire.
Yeah,
So are
like
they
you can
not?
find it.
Are they not for sale right now?
I don't think so. Most places aren't carrying them.
Um, yeah, I
Here we
don't
go.
see a
Isotopes.
find a retailer. I see find a retailer, but do these things even need drivers? I don't know if they need. They don't need drivers.
No, because there's well, drivers if you're gonna connect. I mean, at some point you're supposed to connect to your device. You're supposed to also be able to use it as a standalone like audio workstation, I guess, because you're supposed to be able to plug your stuff in and then record on it and then listen back to it on an iPad to be able to mix and
Ah,
put some effects and stuff. I'm looking at the website right now, Isotope, and it seems it's there, but it's not like you can buy it. Like if you go to buy it, it's
yeah.
you're getting sent to
So if I check
nowhere.
Sweetwater, they have a Spire Studio travel bag, but no Spire itself.
That's what
So
I mean, and I've been finding that as I've been looking, and I wondered because it was such a nice little something fun to use on the go where I didn't need like a whole computer, but again, pretty limited because it was there to do something like really simple.
yeah,
Track a bunch of things, plug them in, slap a little effect or two. But not a lot of ability to customize beyond that because it was so like simple.
yeah,
But yeah, I feel like it's gone.
yeah. It could be.
So
You know,
abandonware.
abandonware. Yeah, Isotope used to make a product called Nectar that directly competed with auto tune. It had a graphical pitch corrector, the same thing I'm looking for right now and suffering through auto tune and waves tune with. But now instead, they package Melodyne with Nectar. I wish they would have kept going on Nectar, but you know I don't really hear too much abandon from Isotope. But then again, Isotope doesn't get into hardware, and now they did, and
Hmm.
sure enough, who knows? Um, what am I seeing? Um, Speaking of dicey companies, it looks like Antelope has a bus-powered USB interface. We were talking about DAW Bench earlier, and Antelope actually plays pretty well on there. I thought for the kind of nonsense these guys peddle in their ads that this was going to be a pretty crappy driver setup. I'm not sure how the things work. It might be Thunderbolt. I'm not sure. It looked good in DAW Bench. I mean, I really. Let me pull up the DAW Bench. DAW Bench Antelope.
Oh wow, that
There was
looks
a chart
nice.
that had. Where's the? By the way, people, where did the DAW Bench charts go? So here's I'm finding in Google Images, RME HDSPE. Say, of course, RME is still at the very top of this thing, but something called the Antelope Discrete 8 Thunderbolt plays pretty high up there, and I mean above for the DAW Bench low latency performance. So I don't know what that means. How many hundred or whatever re-X comps the damn thing could run. Here's Antelope Discrete 8 at okay, couldn't handle 32 buffers. Looked a little bit sketchy on the they're not reporting the converter latency with the 64 buffers for the round trip latency. The round trip latency was looking good. 138 RXCs. I wonder what that compares with, but you know, being able to run 138 re-X comps at 64 buffers is pretty damn respectable. As much as the reason I don't like this company is because they make a lot of magical clock claims that they are not going to back up. I asked them to back it up, and they didn't back it up. But they do have a 2-channel USB interface out there. It's probably going to be, you know, like just like we were talking about earlier. Chances are Thessicon makes their drivers, so this thing could be just the same as the Behringer. Looks like it's priced for 500 euros for 2 channels. For 500
Well,
US buckaroos, you could go buy an RME Digiface USB like I'm using right now and get 32 channels. Yeah, it doesn't have a quarter-inch ins and outs. It doesn't have some of the other stuff. But you could go buy a 2-channel DAC and still be under that 500 euro mark. Kind of crazy, but, you know, if it has the same... It looks like it also has Thunderbolt, so it could be just as powerful as this Discrete 8. And if that's the case, maybe paying $500 for that. But, you know, what does an RME Babyface go for? Let's just check that out right now. RME Babyface. I don't know if it's the Pro that I want. Wow, $900 for a Babyface. See, this Antelope may actually be cheaper than a Babyface.
jeez.
I'm not sure. But again, I would trust that 20 years from now, RME is still going to be making drivers for this Babyface. Whereas these other guys, not so much. Yeah, bam, $900. Youch. Come on, Army. You've got to get us someplace lower in the... Okay, USB audio interface. So let me just pull up what they got. Babyface Pro, $900. UFX, $2,800. UCX, $1,500. Oh man, yeah. I guess that's their 2-channel interface is $900. But you know, if you want the very best drivers in the business, the best low latency performance, you're gonna get that Army. So I'm betting that Antelope, the test they did was on Thunderbolt, not USB, and I don't trust Thunderbolt at all. So I wouldn't be going for this Antelope thing. But you guys, if you're crazy enough, you can. €500, I go buy something else. Speaking of people who make magical, mystical claims, Black Lion Audio, and you guys out there are cringing right now when you're thinking about these guys. They are making their first ever interface. It says the Revolution 2x2 promises premium performance. How's that for alliteration? 2-channel interface, 2 mic inputs. Looks like 2 combo inputs. Looks like they got instrument inputs on the front, headphones, handy knob, SPDIF in and out, monitor in and out on 1/4 inch, hopefully TRS. They've got USB. And this thing is allegedly €400. So again,
What the heck? Why are they so expensive?
well, because here we go. Let me read. I'm surprised. Hey, Sound on Sound, I'm kind of ashamed of you for printing it this way. This sounds more like a press release than a review. Maybe this is a press release.
Like, how is this? How is this for the more layman when it comes to the audio novice? If you're starting out with a Scarlett Solo, how does this compare to that?
This would be a direct competitor to a Scarlett Solo. Unlike the Scarlett Solo, this does have SPDIF in and out if you need digital I/O for something else, which is good. I don't know that it's €400 good, whatever that comes out to in real dollars. But here's the issue, and the reason that Black Lion is known for taking gear. You give them gear, and they will upgrade, in quotes, your gear. And I think they do improve some of the analog circuit stuff. It's feasible. What they also claim to do is to upgrade your clock. And anytime we talk about clocks, I don't believe, like I every single time this comes up where people are supposed to provide some evidence that this better clock or whatever is going to improve performance, and especially when you get to what's his face, the master of converter technology, Dan Lavery. And he always tells you that by putting an external clock on your device, you are always going to be decreasing the performance over what it can do internally. So, clocks are always sketchy, but here's a paragraph. The unit also makes use of tech developed for Black Lion's own studio master clocks, employing the same minimum jitter macro MMC clocking system as their flagship sync units. I want to see somebody show me when jitter matters. And what really kills me about this stuff, I had to, for our school, so that we could run 2 rooms and run over word clock, I had to buy a word clock generator. Back in the day, everybody knew a word clock generator was just whatever's coming out of the video sync box, whatever. $50 if you're going to buy it on its own. No. Nowadays, because of all this claims of clock magic and stuff, instead of being able to buy a $60 word clock generator that has a plethora of outputs so that you can control all your devices, in this case I have 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 devices that need to be controlled over word clock. You get something like Black Lion for $300 or $400 or whatever that just makes a word clock generator, has a couple outputs, and it's going to cost you, like, you'd have to buy 3 of them. I mean, get out of here. And then, man, okay, you guys want to see crazy, scammy crap. Let's go to word clock generator. And, if anybody had any science to back this crap up versus the science that actually tells you that this stuff is all nonsense, sure, I'd buy it. I just need something to sync my stuff. I don't need... So who comes up first? Antelope, who we're just talking about. $1,500 for their master clock. What does it have? Clocking up to 768 kilohertz. 64-bit acoustically focused clocking. Because, you need that acoustic focus, because that's whatever the hell that means. Somebody put that in quantifiable terms. What the hell does acoustically focus mean? Does it have... is that a plus 3 decibels at 20 kilohertz? What the hell do you mean? So what does this thing have? It's actually, this thing has a pile of outputs. That's pretty cool. Word clock, 8 word clock outs. Wow. AES outs. That's pretty cool. So it actually has a lot of ins and outs, but for $1,500 to do stuff they can't prove, no thanks. Black Lion audio micro clock. Oh, it's being too charitable here. $800, 6 word clock outputs. Okay, $800 for a magical clock. Antelope Live clock. I don't know how many outputs it got. $1,000. Elation Professional Sync USB SMPTE timecode interface. Hopefully it's got word clock. I don't know. It doesn't. Oh, wow. Okay, never mind. Black Line. Okay, here's the $300 one. Has 2 or 3 outputs. 3 word clock outputs for $300. Oh, that's only $100 a clock output. That's a great deal. No thanks. Mutech, $900. Another Black Line for another Mutech. Man, these are all way too much money. Tascam, you know better. Tascam, shame on you. For a company that jumps the shark between prosumer and pro all the time. Master clock generator for $1,200. Come on, Tascam, you know better than that. Shame on you. So anyway, so yeah, that particular Black Lion audio, you're competing with your Scarletts and stuff. I would just buy a Scarlett. Or I'd buy a Behringer. Whatever. I'm not going to pay $400. Once I get in the 400 euros. Once I get in that range, I'm going to go buy a big ass multi-channel interface from Army.
So go with the Scarletts.
No, or the Scarletts. I'll just take the Scarlett. Okay, and let's see. Oh, speaking of, so here we go with NAMM. I'm not sure what these are supposed to cost, if these actually exist. M Audio is back. M Audio has the M-Track Duo. This looks like it's supposed to compete directly with the Scarlett 2i2. It's got, let's see, what do you got here? It's got handy knobs on the top of the unit, so you're not going to be able to put it in a rack, but I don't think this is what these things are for. I'm trying to look at the front because, okay, it's got 2 outputs on quarter-inch, not RCA. Phantom power switch, liner instrument switch. This is very much like a 2i2. Instead of the knobs like some of the Focusrite has for the direct monitoring, this has a direct monitoring or DAW switch. I think my Scarlett Solo has the same thing. So who knows? Maybe M Audio is back in the market. I will almost guarantee you that M Audio is using Thessicon drivers the same as anybody else. But M Audio has done some pretty pro stuff over the years. They've also helped create the Project Studio market. And recently they did make those really good mic preamps, I think. Was that them or was that Art? I think M Audio made some really good mic preamps lately. It's saying Crystal preamp, Pristine A to D, whatever. Who knows how much these are going to cost, but that's the 2-channel. And they also have one called the M-Track Solo. Wow, that's kind of pushing it there. So just like the Scarlett Solo, this has a mic input and an instrument or line input. And it looks just like a Scarlett Solo. It's got a switch for direct monitoring or USB or DAW, whatever. Phantom power, 3 knobs. And let's see, if you have the worst thing about the Scarlett Solo is that it has RCA jacks for outputs. Okay, let's see what this has. RCA jacks for outputs. Man, this is M Audio directly taking on the Scarlett. It better be cheaper because, I mean, it's the same damn thing. RCA jacks, come on, guys. Nobody wants RCA jacks on the back of these damn things. Give me the quarter inches. Okay, and that, I think, you see anything else super interesting?
Not really.
Okay.
I am interested now in that M Audio, though. I'm sitting in an office full of some dead and outdated M Audio gear.
Oh, wow.
So to see that they're kind of I have some blown out speaker monitors right now.
Okay.
I have one of their larger MIDI keyboards that I probably purchased in like early 2000s, but it's damn near dead now.
Oh, wow. Well,
but yeah,
to stand the humidity of Hawaii for any length of time is pretty good. M Audio knows what they're doing when it comes to MIDI, and they built they built a Dice 2 interface when Dice 2 FireWire chips were the rage. So shame on them for that. But I think it was called the 2626 or something like that. But they do well. They did real well with some of their, I think it was M Audio made the Delta 1010, right? So that was one of the early 8-channel interfaces. One of the things I see here, speaking of, we're talking about the Pod Go and some of the other multi-effects pedals, and seeing that the neural cortex seem to be vaporware, is that Zoom. And you guys have seen Zoom a lot in the news lately, you know, especially if you want an iPad studio, you probably have one of those Zoom microphone things or a Zoom recorder. Zoom put out some good interfaces lately and actually had really low round trip latency for their USB interface. So I'm wondering if they're not using Thessicon drivers, if they're using their own. But this year, Zoom had the G6, which is their pedal. It looks cheap and plasticky like their other G series pedals, but I think it might be a touch screen. Looks like it's supposed to go against the Pod Go. So let's see. These things I always want to ask. The first question is, can this send out at the same time an output that's suitable for the PA and an output that is suitable for a guitar amp? One of those things needs this cabinet simulator on it, and the other one needs to not have a cabinet simulator on it. Can this device do it? Line 6 is notorious for putting out devices that could possibly do it and then making the software so that it doesn't. And shame on you, Line 6, over and over. But man, that Pod Go is really kick-ass, so you guys kind of redeemed yourself. But I have a useless Firehawk here if you guys want to figure out a way to fix the firmware on it. Stop abandoning your products. I want to see new software for all these devices. Is there new software for the Firehawk? I don't know, because it had a lot of problems, and I'd love to see it updated. But anyway, let's see what's on this G6. It has a touch screen you can use to adjust parameters. I'm not sure how much I want to adjust parameters on a touch screen. I tried it on an iPad. Wasn't all that fun, but it says navigate menus and reorder effects change using the all familiar phone-style touch and swipe gestures. That's a good idea. 6-foot switches and a continuous controller pedal for controlling wah, volume, and whammy-style effects, and 4 rotary encoders beneath the touchscreen. Okay, so this brings up a lot of stuff. Can you use this as a MIDI interface? Does it have auto-engage? So one of the things our company is known for is that we have an auto-engage plugin out there, but really, you know, these guys can build it right into their pedal. So I wonder if it's got it. It says emulating pretty much every guitar effect you can think of. Okay, whenever you say that, I got to ask, does it have an actual harmonizer or just a chromatic pitch shifter? If it's got a harmonizer, that's pretty cool. Powerful amp modeler, can cover every guitar style from blues to gent. Convolution engine ships with 70 impulse responses of mic'd up cabinets, or you can store and use up to 100 of your own. So you can put your own impulses in this thing. That is kick-ass. That is really, really kick-ass. Take heed, Line 6. I think you can do it with the Pod Go, but you can't do it with the Firehawk. Let's see. So 100 of your own impulses, man. I got a couple. That's all I need. That is awesome. But again, can you make it so that the impulses will show up on the PA out and not the amp out? That's going to be important. A rhythm player with 68 drum parts. That's pretty cool. So you can play along with your own drums or do your own like loopy stuff. So it probably, yeah, it sells built-in looper. Looper can accommodate a massive 256 audio loops, and with the SD card will let you perform loop up to 2 hours long. Jesus. Priced around the 500 pounds mark. Okay, so this is going to be significantly more expensive than the Pod Go. So I don't know that this is going to be better. I might just buy the Pod Go. So I see it's got an effects loop send and a left and right output. I don't see a separate output that's supposed to be for the PA system. Maybe you can control all this stuff. I don't know. I hope Zoom that you've done some goodies in here, but it's got a USB port, so it might be an audio interface. Yeah, it says it can act as a 2-in, 2-out audio interface. I think I might just go with the Pod Go if I were looking at this thing. But let's see what happens when it actually ships. Is it shipping yet, or is this vaporware? Due to start shipping this spring, so who knows? Could be vaporware, could be real. Price could come down a lot when it actually comes out. So that's interesting. So, okay, so that's everything I see on NAM, and I'm still babbling. So Candy, you're still there?
I'm still here.
It looks
I'm looking at my own list of NAM things. I want to play with this micro Mustang that Fender put out. that little plug and play micro size amp that has 12 Mustang models, 13 effects, a rechargeable battery, and Bluetooth.
Oh yeah, somebody was
How's that
talking
gonna
about that.
sound?
So we have the Mustang DSP at the school. We have the Mustang 12-inch amp, and we got a Mustang 10-inch, two Mustang 12-inch amps, 10-inch amps
Well, this is
upstairs.
micro. This is like literally the size of a, half of a pack of cards.
Yep. So
And I'm
hopefully,
wondering how good that's going to be for, let's say, like a student that doesn't have the ability to rock out. How good is it going to be for somebody that wants to feel like they're jamming out, but doesn't have the ability to turn their volume past like 4?
well, let's see. One of the things is, if you really look at what actually makes these things happen, if you look at the DSP that's involved, it's actually on a very, very tiny chip. It doesn't take very much at all. So if you could put the same DSP in here as is in the, obviously you're not going to get the same amount of control or screens, or maybe you are. Maybe you plug it in over USB to your computer and you actually get everything you possibly could. The DSP in the Mustang series, the Mustang actually has an actual harmonizer, at least on the big one.
Oh,
The
wow.
amp DSP was really good. The effects DSP was really good. So if they put the same DSP inside this thing, and there's no reason that they couldn't, this could be killer. At least we're playing with headphones or whatever, or plug it into your computer. It could be unreal. I have a lot of problems with the Mustang software and the way it's implemented, and worst of all, that they didn't get an ASIO driver and you plug in with ASIO for all. Shame, shame, shame. But the DSP on this stuff is killer. I mean, absolutely awesome. I don't like that they're clean. There is no real way to make an actual clean sound at the same volume as the distorted sounds, but that was just a dumb software decision that could be fixed in a firmware update. It might have already been fixed. I haven't even checked, so that could be killer. I'd definitely give it a shot, man. The Mustang stuff is good stuff. And let's see. So on other news, through the crazy crap you've been typing, it sounds like you actually want to do some of the really technical audio engineering stuff, man. That's hardcore. You know, I love to teach that stuff. I love to talk about that stuff, but it's exhausting to actually, unless you're sure that person is actually going to stick with it, it's so much work to actually put out that information and then find out that they weren't really up for that because it's just too much. And
I'm coming from looking at a history. Like I've had, and this is the even funnier thing about it, is I've literally used Macs the entirety of my school life, from like being in elementary and being in college, starting with like those MacBooks that look like huge Monopuas or whatever. But I've been on Macs for forever, and I've tried the GarageBand thing. I've tried like playing with the audio things. I've literally recorded my music for a hell of a long time, and I'm just like crappy at it. So to think that I'm going to want to stop recording my music, that's not going to happen. I just definitely want to get better at it, and I know what I'd like to capture now, which is being able to capture enough of how I casually record myself and record audio so that someone like a kid or somebody starting out and wanting to record or be creative can see how I'm doing and how I'm creating stuff and not get overwhelmed. Because I don't know, I think like everybody that I kind of hang out with is really smart and kind of knows their stuff and has a lot of great information, is very knowledgeable. And for a lot of people that are just starting out, that can be really intimidating and turn them away and then nothing happens.
oh yeah.
But making it accessible and me finding out a way to make it feel streamlined and easy and not overly technical, even though I do appreciate the knowledge to be able to do so and act in that fashion, to get and be able to mess around with like every aspect of my project and my recording. Like, yeah, I definitely want to do that.
All right. Well, I'm telling you, it's a eventually we'll have this out so anybody can just do whatever. But for me right now, it's actually a very big investment in my time to actually put it down to the way that somebody can actually understand it. But if you're if you're game for it, I'm there to show you how to do it. But like I said,
I'll be the guinea pig. I'll be the
this is
guinea pig.
hardcore, man. It's there's a lot you can learn pretty easily, but if you really want to learn a lot of it, there's a lot of it's one of those things where you just hate to repeat yourself over and over, and then like you find out that, oh yeah, they weren't really gonna pull it anyway, But
Yeah.
this is good stuff. I mean, this is what we do here. We teach stuff, and if I'm not teaching, then I'm taking on magical clock claims from Antelope Audio and other people, and I will call you out directly, Antelope. But really, the guys I want to call out directly are all you guys that shot down my Save VST2 petition, and now you guys can all suck it because we have Lv2 in Reaper. It's coming. I don't think it came in this update, but you guys have seen the pictures. Justin has it working, and so you guys can really suck it. And Steinberg, oh man, I shouldn't even say this, but Steinberg making everybody stop using VST2 before VST3's MIDI worked was a bad thing. And I hope that you're not going to retaliate on us when I say this, that it's never good to have a monopoly anywhere. And the fact that you guys were in control, Yamaha, I'm calling you out because you guys are ultimately responsible now that you own Steinberg. And what you've told me on the phone, and that's private conversation, but you know what you've told me. You know what you guys have responded in forums and everything else. It's going to be a good thing that we finally have an alternate plug-in format. And who knows, maybe Lv2 won't take off that hard, but the Linux guys have been using it for however long, and the Linux guys are nuts, and so they're probably going to get on here and do some stuff. So it's nice that we don't have a monopoly. The other monopoly I really want to die is, sadly, I got to caution everybody, and I know how much you guys hate it when I say this, but I got to caution people not to buy Macs right now until we know what the hell is going to happen. They've, just like Steinberg, actually, they've obsoleted so many plugins that formerly worked because you can't install the damn things. And that gives Windows a monopoly. That's not a good thing. I don't want to see a monopoly with anybody. That is terrifying. And I don't want to see monopolies. And I want to see, I can't wait. I'm really excited for Lv2. I don't know what the hell CAF is you guys keep talking about, but as soon as Lv2 works, I'll go run CAF and try it out, and we'll see how that works. And so I guess tomorrow is maybe Candy's going to start some super hardcore audio engineering training while she's trying to actually do her job. So that's could be.
I am going to. Well, no, like tomorrow is my day where I come in and I have like the little kids. This is like the funniest part too. I have like the little kids and they're dead set on recording.
Oh.
So I'm talking like the 6, the 8, the 10-year-old kids. I'm coming in tomorrow, and I'm tracking kids from like 9:30 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon.
All right.
Like we're running some Reaper on these kids.
All right. You hear that, John Tidy? Somebody else is running Reaper. So, yeah, I know I shouldn't call you out, but you shouldn't have deleted my posts, dude. If you want to moderate the guys that are in there making trouble. Not, to chase pipeline audio out of a goddamn Reaper forum is insanity. But
it's ridiculous.
Yesterday, Lenore the Shredder had to come in because she's doing another one of those UN things where you play and then somebody or in the other part of the world plays and you guys put it together, all playing a song. I think this time it's Born to be Wild. And I was asking, what do I got to do? And nothing. She's in there recording herself. And I was like, oh, okay, do you know how to send it to your house? And there she is consolidating files and sent it to her. So, if Lenore can figure this out, I keep seeing you guys on the forums that don't know what the hell you're talking about saying, man, Reaper is just too hard to use. It's you need a rocket. It's like building rocket ships, or you got to be a rocket surgeon in order to run the thing. I got little kids that can run this stuff all day long. You guys are just turkeys, man. So if you really want to know how, just get on my Discord. We'll get on screen share or something. I'll show you how, man. It's not that hard. Little kids can do it. So yeah, you guys, I'd love to embarrass you guys on this stuff, but yeah, Lenore was handling it just fine. Consolidated stuff, sent it home. She even mixed it at home, and she installed ToneLib GFX on her stuff so that she could put a cabinet simulator on there. So that was actually really good. So I think that's it. Holy crap, I got an hour out of this episode. My 100th episode. I'm so crazy thrilled that I had 100 episodes. Can you believe 100 episodes? That's nutters. And
That's a big congratulations to you. That's something to celebrate. I hope you get like donuts tomorrow or something.
oh man, I tried to get on early enough so I could cold call some celebrities. I was going to call Tommy. I was going to call Glenn. And I was going to try and get Phil Zio on here because I know he's chomping to talk about LV2. Jack Winter. I was going to get Jack Winter actually because he's actually in a time zone that makes sense. But he's in there talking to Justin, like just hammering him over LV2. So I'm going to leave him be. But here I got somebody actually recorded me a thing. You guys heard at the beginning.
Aloha. You're listening to Pipeline Audio. Thank you for following our podcast. We hope you will enjoy our 100th episode. Stay safe and well. Mahalo.
You hear that? Mahalo. Just like the
So
stewardesses tell you. What is that?
I said, that's such a cute intro. Who did it?
That was
Was that Hira?
Yep, that's Hira.
Nice.
She actually recorded her own podcast one time, and then she refused to put it out. So I still have it recorded. One of these days, my middle brother keeps hammering her to put it out, so I'll just send it to him, and he can release it and get in trouble for it. I'll say, "Oh, you hacked my computer," and she go, "Your brother doesn't know how to hack computers." Wrong brother. The other one would. So, all right. So I guess that's it for my 100th episode. I'm gonna go eat something, and try and put this ATM 230 together because drummers can't aim and they keep hitting mics that are a foot away from the thing they're trying to hit. So I got to fix this mic. But
I can't wait to see that guitar of yours. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure
man.
Kaviko is going to lose his mind tomorrow when he realizes what you've done.
Most of the really scary ass ugly routing that I had to do is underneath everything where you can't see it, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
But I ordered some more router bits, so when they get here, next time I change strings, I can actually clean up all the nasty damage I did and make it look really nice. So
That oil slick, though, looks
man.
so fancy.
So yeah, if anybody knows if there's oil slick tuners, I need those. And if there are oil slick knobs, I need those. And if there are oil slick strap lock buttons and football jacks, I need all that because that guitar still has some metal that's not oil slick. And hey, if somebody wants to oil slick my frets, hey, I have no idea if that can be done, but that would be awesome. I don't know that that's a very good idea, but there still are some metal parts on this guitar that could use some oil slick. So I'm sure there's oil slick knobs out there. I'm going to go look, actually. But anyway.
That is going to be crazy when it's done.
Yeah. I'm going to go eat some food, and thank you for being on, Candy, because I didn't call anybody else, and you answered your phone. So thank you.
No problem.
All right, and I'll see you tomorrow, I guess, and see you, Woody.
Yep.
And bye, everybody.
Bye.